Is it wise for a husband and father to spend long periods of time away from his family in order to provide for them?
It's not the best, but in our present world, circumstances are such that it happens like that because there's no job available in the place where they are living. They have to go somewhere else where they cannot take their family. I know in India there are many poor people who go to work in Dubai and other countries in the Arabian Gulf where they get a job and sometimes they're away from their families for 10 months a year. It's not at all ideal, 10 months a year. But some go there out of covetousness to make more money. God doesn't bless that type of thing. But if it's unavoidable, God sees the difference between those who go to make money somewhere and sacrifice their family and those who go out of necessity. And if you've gone out of necessity, you'll find the blessing of the Lord on your family. If you're going to make money, ultimately your family will lose out. I can give that to you in writing. I've seen that with people who have even gone to the Persian Gulf, Christians, whose primary goal is to make money. When I've seen their children, one after the other, go astray, even though they call themselves Christians. They could have been wholehearted Christians, but they're not. So they're happy with just a nominal type of accept the Lord, take baptism, and then live as you like. But some cases it's out of necessity, then God will give you grace to take care of it. In the olden days, everybody had farms. They lived in the farm. The whole family grew up there. The children grew up to take care of farms. It was easy. But today we live in a civilized society. With the Industrial Revolution, in the last couple of 100 years, the world has changed so much. And we have to adjust to this world in which we live and pray that God will guide. So sometimes it's unavoidable, and then God will give grace even for that situation. There is no situation that God does not plan in advance for. Here is a living example right now. Who knew that this COVID-19 pandemic would be upon us in these last couple of years? God. Even the devil didn't know that. God. And what provision has God made for his children who cannot now come together? It says, don't forsake the assembling of yourself together. You know what happened 2 years ago? Not only the pandemic came, but God permitted someone to invent Zoom, which you're using right now. Why did that happen now? You see the connection between the two? That God allowed it for the sake of his children. I personally believe every single invention is for the sake of the gospel. For airplanes, what is that for? It's so that people can travel around the world and preach the gospel. I've used airplanes many times to go to places I could not have gone otherwise to preach the gospel. Computers, we are using it right now for the sake of the spread of the gospel. I believe every invention God has allowed so that as the world increases and you need to reach far and wide. YouTube, even though it's used for many bad things, we are using it to spread the gospel. I mean, we were a little group meeting in our house in 1975 when CFC started with 2 people first. Gradually became 4 or 5, 6 people. That's how we started in 1975. But we had a goal. We must make disciples all over the world. But we start with our little circle. We prayed for Bangalore first, then for India, then for other countries. And we said, Lord, how to reach the world? So we first started distributing cassettes of our messages. Then when CDs came, we started distributing CDs. Then from CDs, we moved to DVDs. DVDs, we started distributing DVDs. And then, lo and behold, YouTube came along and we could put 2,000 messages of ours on YouTube, and it's going to 180 countries. We get responses. We get responses from Greenland. Can you believe that? We are reaching the world with the gospel. And right now, I don't know how many countries are being reached right now, but God has made amazing ways. Every technology is for the spread of the gospel, and we must use it. So we live in a world where these things are there. So I agree that as far as possible, we should stay together as a family, but if it's not possible, God